It was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. 5 weeks. Europe. Just the two of us. We'd been dreaming about it for years. Laughing over travel blogs, bookmarking hidden gems in Italy, promising we'd dance in the streets of Lisbon and watch the sun rise over the Mediterranean. He was one of my closest friends. At least I thought he was. But I didn't expect that. 7 days in, I'd be sitting alone in a Barcelona apartment, wondering if I'd just ended a friendship for good, and if I was wrong to walk away. It started like most trips do, with excitement, jet lag, and way too much confidence in Google Maps. We explored, we joked, we shared inside references only we would ever understand. We were in sync at first, drinking local coffee in side street cafes, trying new food, snapping goofy photos next to centuries-old statues. But something started to shift. Not all at once, like a storm creeping in from the horizon. It was subtle, then it wasn't. The first red flag came early. We were crossing into another country. Nothing dramatic, just the usual train ride, border checks, backpacks. I noticed him looking nervous, edgy. Then he leaned in and said he needed a favor. He wanted me to help him smuggle weed gummies across the border. He laughed when he said it, like it was no big deal. But I didn't laugh, because it was a big deal. Depending on the country, that could have ended with us in a cold, foreign cell. No one to call, no second chances. I told him I wasn't comfortable. I told him no. That's when his face changed. He scoffed, rolled his eyes, called me uptight, said I wasn't being a real friend. And even though we moved past it, at least on the surface, I felt it. That tension. Like something small had broken, and we'd both decided not to look at the pieces. But it didn't stop there. A few days later, he lost his phone charger. Simple mistake, right? We've all done it, but instead of searching calmly, he turned to me, accused me of taking it, swore he left it on the train, and blamed me for not watching it, even though I'd never touched it. I tried to reason with him. He snapped. I bit my tongue. Still, I didn't leave. We'd planned this trip for months. I didn't want to ruin it. So I swallowed the frustration and chalked it up to travel stress. Maybe he just needed sleep. Maybe things would level out. But they didn't. Instead, the air between us kept tightening. Every day felt like walking on eggshells. His jokes got sharper, his tone more sarcastic. He'd roll his eyes when I wanted to visit a museum or take a photo. He'd mutter under his breath when I tried to keep us on budget. And then came the MDMA. He brought it up casually at first, like it was just another fun idea, something to open up the mind. I told him I wasn't in the right headspace, that I didn't feel safe doing it here, not now. I was clear, respectful, honest, but he didn't stop asking. He kept pushing, kept hinting, smiling that same smile he used when he wanted something. The one that made me feel like saying no made me the problem. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just a bad travel pairing. This was a test of boundaries, and I was failing. I started to dread the mornings, wondering what kind of mood he'd be in, what I'd be accused of next, what pressure would be laid on me before noon. This wasn't the trip I signed up for. I came to Europe to explore, to grow, to experience life. Not to feel like someone's emotional punching bag. Not to feel unsafe or manipulated or constantly guilty. So, I made a decision. We were supposed to visit my family in Barcelona later in the trip, but I changed my ticket. I didn't tell him until the night before. I said I needed some space. that I was flying ahead of schedule, and I left. I arrived in Barcelona exhausted, but not from the flight. From pretending I was okay, from biting my tongue, from feeling like I owed someone patience when they offered me none in return. My family welcomed me with open arms, a warm bed, home-cooked food, laughter that didn't come with passive aggression. But the text started coming in that same day. He was furious. He said I ditched him, that I ruined the trip, that now, because I was staying with family, he had to pay for his own accommodations. And it was unfair. But here's the thing. I never asked him to pay for my share. I still covered all the prepaid hotels we'd booked together, even though I wasn't sleeping in them. I didn't want money to be another source of conflict. I didn't want him to say I'd left him hanging, but that didn't matter to him. The comments kept coming. Snide, bitter, designed to guilt me back. I sat there, holding my phone, staring at a screen full of blame. And for a moment, I questioned myself. Was I really the bad guy? Did I abandon him? Was I being selfish? But then I remembered the train station, the accusations, the drugs, the pressure, the tone, the constant erosion of my peace. And I realized something simple but life-changing. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is leave. Not to punish, not to shame, but to protect your own soul. Because friendship isn't supposed to feel like a slow descent into silence. It's not supposed to make you question your worth, your safety, your truth. And maybe, just maybe, the real betrayal isn't walking away from someone. It's abandoning yourself to stay. I'm still deciding if I'll meet back up with him. Part of me wants closure, a real conversation, a chance to explain, or to hear an apology. But the other part of me, the quieter, wiser part, is at peace here. Walking alone through narrow alleys, sipping strong coffee under orange trees, watching the sea stretch endlessly before me. And for the first time in days, I feel free. So, am I the asshole? Or did I just finally stop pretending this was okay? Because I never planned to walk away. But I also never planned to lose myself just to keep the peace. And maybe that's the lesson this trip was meant to teach me all along. Here's what I think. Some stories hit different, not because they're dramatic, but because they're real. This wasn't just about weed gummies or hotel rooms. This was about trust, about boundaries, about what happens when the people we think we know show us who they are in the spaces between airports and check-ins. Travel has a way of stripping us down. It removes the comfort zones, the routines, the easy outs. You see someone in raw form when you're sleep deprived, lost, spending every waking hour together. And sometimes, that mirror reveals cracks you can't unsee. To the listener, maybe you've been on a trip like this. Maybe not across the world, but through a relationship, a job, a season of life where someone kept taking and calling it love, and you stayed until you couldn't. If that's you, I hope this story reminds you, you are not selfish for choosing peace. You are not cruel for saying enough. And walking away doesn't make you weak. It might just be the bravest thing you ever do. So what do you think? Was the decision to leave justified? Or should they have stayed and tried one more time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Because here on AITA Stories, every voice matters. And sometimes, just hearing one story can give us the courage to rewrite our own.